Hello everyone, this is Vadim. In this video, we're going to look at the pivot tables and how to pass Excel test, which uses pivot tables questions. As you're probably well aware, companies use pivot tables very extensively. They mostly use them to complete business data analysis and answer business questions. This is why employers hire candidates with the knowledge of pivot tables. Even though pivot tables seem complex, in reality, the functionality is very straightforward. The key to using pivot tables effectively is to understand the data and understand how to use them to answer specific business questions. In this video, I would like to show you a simple test which you might get as part of your hiring process. This test uses car dealership sales data. We will start by understanding the data, prepare the data for analysis, and then we'll create a pivot table to answer business questions. Let's go ahead and get started. The first step you need to do as part of Excel assessment test is to understand the source data. For example, in this particular scenario, we're looking at the sales data for the cars. Each line represents a separate transaction. For example, we have a sale completed by Chloe Johnson on Monday, and this was a walk-in person who came in and purchased Toyota Camry. In column A, we capture salesperson's name. Even though there are 20 data rows, the name of the salesperson is repetitive. As you can see, there are only a handful of people who works in the dealership, and Chloe has multiple transactions here as well. Column B shows the day on which transaction was completed. As you can see, there is also a lot of repetitive data, and if you pay attention, you see that a lot of transactions are conducted on Saturdays and Sundays. Column C shows the data on how transaction was initiated. There are multiple choices here: walk-in, internet, phone call, or web referral. Column D shows the initial price at which dealer started selling the vehicle. Column E shows the price at which dealer acquired the car. Margin shows how much money dealer made in the transaction. Make shows the make of the vehicle, and model shows obviously the model of the car. So now, as we have a good understanding of data, let's create pivot table and answer our first business question. Determine the profit margin for each salesperson. To create pivot table, we need to select all the data that we're trying to include into pivot table, and then click Insert, and then select Pivot Table. Excel prompts us for the range for the pivot table and asks us if we would like to create a new worksheet or place a pivot table into existing worksheet. We will choose the default settings. For the table range, it will be the same range as the selection, and we will create a new worksheet. I'm going to click OK, and as you can see, Excel added one extra sheet. On the left of the sheet, we see the pivot table, and on the right, we see the fields that were present in our original data. Underneath of the pivot table fields, you see filters, rows, columns, and values. To organize the data, you need to drag the field into a particular section. For example, if we would like to determine how many salespeople we have, we can either select the salesperson and it will automatically add it into the rows, or we can just drag it into the rows. To answer our first business question, we need to select margins for each salesperson. So this margin would be the second field we need to add, but we will add it into the values column. And as you can see, with the help of pivot table, we got sum of margins for each salesperson. All we need to do now is to highlight the margin values and do a right mouse click, select number format, and select currency. In the next step, we need to determine the sales rep who sold the highest number of vehicles. How do we do it? First, we need to clear off the sections. You can either drag the item from the section to the outside, or you can select Remove Field. Now, when we are starting with the clean pivot table, let's add a salesperson, and into the column section, let's add Make, and now into the value section, we also need to add make. So what we just did, we added columns for each make of the vehicle, and then we added count of make as the number of sold vehicles as values for each salesperson. We see totals for each salesperson in the column H, and we can see that Chloe and Dan Smith sold the highest number of vehicles. They both sold 6 vehicles. What you realize as soon as you start tackling this question is that you're missing a data here. We're missing final sales data. We have initial sales data. This is the price at which vehicle was initially offered for sale. We have the price of dealer acquisition. This is the cost to the dealer. And then we have a profit margin of how much dealer made for the transaction. We can calculate final sale price, but we're missing it here. So what we're going to do, in the source data, we're going to add another column. We will call it final sale, and we will do the calculation. And our calculation will be dealer price plus margin. Once we calculated the value for one vehicle, we can expand it across all the transactions to complete the calculations. When you navigate back to the pivot table, you see that the final sale price is not presented here. So what we need to do, we need to refresh pivot table. To do it, let's select any area in the pivot table, click pivot table analyze, click refresh, all, and you see that the final sale price shows up here. And now we can include it into our calculations. To calculate highest dollar volume, let's select the salesperson, and then let's select the final sale. For every salesperson, it shows us the total sum of final sales values for all the vehicles. Let's format those values as dollar values. Let's select currency and click OK. And now let's sort the values from largest to smallest. And as you can see, Dan Smith sold the highest dollar volume of vehicle. So together with Chloe Johnson, Dan Smith sold the highest number of vehicles, and they shared the title. But in terms of dollar volume, Dan Smith sold higher dollar volume than Chloe Johnson. In the next question, we need to answer what is the most popular color of sold vehicles. A lot of times, you will be given the data that you would need to import into the source sheet later in the test. Once you import the data, you need to include it into the calculations. To do this, let's go back to the pivot table, select any value in the pivot table, go to pivot table analyze, select change data source, and then here you need to expand the range of your selection to include the newly imported data. Once you click OK, you see that the color will show up as one of the pivot table fields and now available for the calculations. To determine the most popular color of sold vehicles, let's select color into the row field, and let's also include color as a count of values. Once we sort largest to smallest, you see that the black is the most popular color of sold vehicles, followed by white and red, which shares the second place, and then followed by gray and silver. In the next question, we need to answer what is the most popular make and model of the sold vehicles. We do have both makes and models, so let's go to pivot table section. Now we have empty pivot table here. Let's start with make. So what we're going to do, we'll just select make into the rows section, and then we're going to add make into the values section as well. So we have make and then count of make, and that shows us how many particular makes have been sold. Let's just sort it largest to smallest, and then we see that Toyota has the highest number of makes sold, and Toyota is a make. Now, how do we add models here? Very easily. We just select it, or you can drag it underneath of the make here, and then it shows us that Toyota Camry is the most popular model that is being sold, and obviously Toyota is the most popular make. Next question is very tricky. We need to identify who is the salesperson who sells the most popular vehicles. We do have the list of most popular vehicles, and we know that Toyota Camry is the most popular vehicles, and Toyotas in general is extremely popular vehicle. But this doesn't help us much. So what we can do here, let's clear off this data, and let's start with the salesperson. So we'll select the salesperson. We have Chloe, Dan, Emily, and Sheila. And now let's add the most popular makes into the column section. I'm dragging the makes into the column, and you see that the makes showed up, and we have Ford, Honda, Jeep, Nissan, Toyota, and then we have a total column. Now let's add makes as a values to count how many vehicles the salespeople actually sold. And what we see that Chloe Johnson and Dan Smith both sold 3 Toyotas, and then Emily sold 2 Toyotas. So this doesn't help us to determine single salesperson. But what we've learned is that there are 2 salespeople, Chloe and Dan, and they sold the highest number of the most popular vehicles, which is 3 Toyotas each. In the next question, we need to determine highest sales based on the body type. If you look at the types of cars that we have, you see that we have sedans or SUVs. Let's assume that you would be provided with the cross-reference between the model and the body type. So I am going to import this data by just bringing additional tab into Excel, and you see that there is a cross-reference between model and body type. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see a little bit better, but you see that the Camry is a sedan, Fusion is a sedan, same for Charger and Focus, but Highlander and Wrangler are SUVs, and Accord and Altima are all sedans. Now let's go back to our original data, and we will add additional column. We will call it body, and we will use famous VLOOKUP formula to calculate what is the body for the vehicle based on the model. I'm going to type the formula for you and explain. Ultimately, what we're doing, we are taking the value in the cell I2, and we're cross-referencing it against the body tab, and we're trying to calculate what is the body type based on the model using this cross-reference table. If you look at the syntax of the formula, we first need to provide the values for the lookup, which is I2 in our case, so Camry is the input value. Then we go into the cross-reference table, and there we're choosing the column 2, and we're looking for exact match. Once I hit enter, the formula calculates that Camry is a sedan. Let's expand this formula across all the rows, and you see that all the values have been recalculated. Now it's the time to go to the pivot table and expand the selection by going into Pivot Table Analyze, change data source, and then expanding the data source to include the body data which we just calculated. I expanded and included column K, and I'm going to click OK. And now you see that the body type data is included into the pivot table fields. There are multiple ways how we can present the data. For example, if we choose body for the rows and then include bodies as values, which includes count of body, we see that we sold 16 sedans and 4 SUVs. What we can also do, we can include model, and it will show all the types of models under sedan, and it will also expand SUVs to include Highlander and Wrangler. We can also remove all the fields from the calculations, and we can organize data a little bit differently. For example, we can start with the body, and that would be on the top level, and add count of body into the values. Then we can do make and model and build hierarchical structure. Once you expand it, you will see under sedan, Dodge, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota. And once you expand Dodge, you will see all the Chargers sold under sedan, all the Ford sedans sold, all the Honda sedans, Nissan, Toyota sedans sold, and very similar data for SUVs, for Jeep and Toyotas. In the next step, we would need to create a dynamic chart to show sales by leads for different makes, models, and body types. As you can see, we have all data needed. We have make data, we have model data, as well as the body type data in our source data. We also have lead information, which shows us how customer came in to purchase the vehicle. I'm going to navigate into the pivot table section and start by building the hierarchy. The top level of the hierarchy will be body type. The next level will be make of the car. And the last level will be model. Now I am going to also add body as the count into the values section. The next step is to select any value in the pivot table, navigate to Pivot Table Analyze section, and create a pivot chart. There are two types of charts that best fit this particular type of information being displayed. One of them is clustered column. Another one is stacked column. I'm going to select the stacked column and click OK. If we expand the chart, we see that the chart was built to represent the hierarchy as well. At the top level of the hierarchy, we have sedan and SUVs. And then there are 5 types of makes for the sedan, for Dodge, Ford, Honda, Nissan, and Toyota. We also have 2 makes for the SUVs. And then there are different models for the vehicle in the sedan section as well as in the SUV section. There is no easy way to add lead data on top of all the information we're already showing. But one of the ways you can use is to use slicers to create dynamic chart. And this was mentioned as part of the question that we're trying to answer. To add a slicer, we need to navigate to the Pivot Chart Analyze and click on Insert Slicer. The slicer we will be adding is the lead slicer. You select the lead and click OK. Now you see different types of leads. We have internet, phone call, walk-in, and web referral. And what you can see is that as soon as we click on a particular lead, it shows the data that's associated with this lead. For example, by looking at this data, you can see that the internet leads sell almost all types of vehicles. Phone call leads are pretty similar, but walk-ins only help sell Toyota Camrys, and web referrals are also pretty diverse. As you can see, pivot tables are not very difficult to use, and passing Excel test with pivot tables is possible for anyone. The key is to practice. And to practice with this particular test, please consider downloading the source files for this video from the description and following along with this video to complete the exercise. Hands-on practice is one of the best ways to learn new features and functionality of the application. If you like the content, make sure to click the like button and subscribe. This tells us that you need more content like this, and we'll make sure to deliver it to you in the future. And all the best on your interview and assessment test. I'll see you in my next video.